There's something uniquely iconic and terrifying about these dark fantasy series. What other genres can mix steamy love triangles with the most profound pieces of dialogue and trauma you can imagine? From paranormal worlds, vampires, ghosts, werewolves, to demonic possessions and nightwalkers, and more. Get ready to shed a tear or two, and for some jump scares and nightmares. Welcome to CNext. Today we're ranking the top 10 best dark fantasy series of all time. Get your popcorn ready, set, and let's go!
Vanessa. Help me.
Number 10, Shadow and Bone.
The whole world will be after you.
The prize is 1 million Kruger. Bring me Alina Starkov.
No mourners, no funerals, and a heist begins. It was a crime that this show got cancelled. Shadow and Bone starts with Alina Starkov, who's a cartographer of the Ravka's First Army, when she discovers that she is a Grisha. Now, she has to harness this power that her world is terrified of, and that makes her target. The show does an award-winning job of linking Lee Barduga's Grishaverse, Shadow and Bone, with Six of Crows. Freddie Carter, Amita Suman, Kit Young, and Jack Wolf are exactly what the book fans pictured for the Crows, especially Kaz and Inej. In summary, Prince Caspian's as a villain, heists, enemies to lovers, crime partners to lovers, magic, it's all here in this dark verse.
Good girl. Now the work begins.
Number 9, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
I can't do this.
You must.
Chilling Adventures of Sabrina had a lot to live up to after the original series, but Kiernan Shipka took on that role like a second skin. This dark fantasy horror is an ultimate coming-of-age story. Sabrina Spellman wants to have the best of both worlds, to live her human life with her wonderful friends, Rosalind and Theo, and with her boyfriend Harvey. However, her half-witch side comes calling. As every teenager with the Church of Night is bound to do, Sabrina must sign her name in the Book of the Damned, forever cementing her fate as one of the devil's followers and to forsake her human life, but she can't quite let go.
What is it you want from me?
Number 8, Teen Wolf.
Look at them! You see what they do? The only way to fight them is together. What is this? What are they doing? Declaring war.
A story as old as time. Two awkward teenage boys sneak into the woods when there's a police investigation into a severed body found there. Only half. Little do Scott McCall and Stiles Stalinsky know that finding the second half of what turns out to be a werewolf's body will set up a chain of events that will forever transform their lives. Because in those woods, Scott gets bitten by a werewolf that night. Now, he has to learn how to navigate life as a supernatural creature that gets filled with homicidal, unadulterated rage every full moon. And he can't find the alpha that turned him, even as the alpha goes on killing sprees in their sleepy town of Beacon Hills. To make matters worse, Scott finds himself falling in love with the newest girl in school, Allison Argent, the daughter of werewolf hunters. A little maiming, a little mangling ensues.
How do I stop them?
Don't stop them. Lead them.
Number 7, The Sandman.
What's the guy in his hands? Open your hands now!
The Sandman is based on the comic book written by Neil Gaiman. Does more need to be said? You'll feel the real Morpheus's pull when you dive into this series. The Sandman, played by Tom Sturridge, also known as Dream, has been trapped, or to put it more accurately, has been held prisoner for over a century. Chaos has reigned while he's been gone. Now, he has to traverse a canonic multiverse to clean up that mess. That scene with Lucifer, who's played by the fantastic Gwendolyn Christie, which we won't spoil because it's something that needs to be experienced in full, spoiler-free, is chef's kiss. Each episode of this series tops the last, with a final overwhelming crescendo at the end. If you're a fan of the comics, if you've never read the comics, this is the show for you.
My creations do not walk amongst the living, killing mortals for pleasure.
Oh, you don't think dreams can die? Let's find out.
Number 6, Wednesday.
Hey, freak. This is a closed practice. The only person who gets to torture my brother is me.
Who else was on the fence about a show centered around Wednesday Addams starring Jenna Ortega? Especially when the full cast was revealed, featuring Louise Guzman and Catherine Zeta-Jones as Gomez and Morticia Addams. Despite this casting choice being the most accurate to the comics. It took approximately 0.2 seconds to fall in love with this show and realize that it's one of the greatest. After an incident at her old school, Wednesday is enrolled at Nevermore Academy, Morticia's old school. There she makes friends, accidentally stumbles upon a murder mystery that she's determined to solve, and unwittingly gets caught up in a love triangle. Among millions of factors, Ortega's impossible feat of blinking exactly 3 times throughout 8 episodes, her dead eyes, and her black cat versus golden retriever relationship with Enid won everyone over. Did this live up to the legacy the Addams family left behind?
I won't stop until I find the truth.
Number 5, The Witcher.
You sure about this?
Are you?
One of the world's first encounters with Henry Cavill's famous Witcher series, based on the video game, was Cavill relaying how he got in shape for his monster-slaying role. In this wild world, Witcher Geralt is a tortured monster hunter, a mutated one. Cavill was born to play this role, just like Joey Beatty was born to play the role of Jaskier the Bard. The Witcher takes you across different timelines, flashbacks, and world-spanning cinematography. It's brutal, magical, packed with gory and action, everything dark fantasy should be. The Witcher is one of those rare shows that unapologetically stays true to its source material, and does a fantastic job of it. Will Geralt find peace? Will Yennefer do as well? Who will protect and train Cirilla when magic oaths come calling and new and old enemies come seeking?
We're witches.
Is that so?
Number 4, Supernatural.
You don't want to know.
We got work to do.
Worlds were changed when the words "Dad's been on a hunting trip and he hasn't been home in a few days" were uttered, sending into the collective heaven, hell, and purgatory of TV series. Supernatural ran for 327 episodes and 15 seasons, bypassing the likes of other shows with cult followings such as The X-Files and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Here, brothers and monster hunters Dean and Sam Winchester unknowingly set off the end of the world, aka the apocalypse, when they search for their missing father, John Winchester. Chaos ensues, with yellow-eyed demons, angels, one very special trenchcoat-wearing angel, crossroad demons, the Lucifer, more archangels, and ghosts, monsters, and eldritch terrors that are straight out of a horror movie. All of these shows are equal in terms of knee-jerking action and how they play with our hearts. Spoiler alert, but with how many times a main character in Supernatural, you're going to wish you didn't feel a thing.
All right. Who's next?
Number 3, Penny Dreadful.
That sounds like a warning.
It's an invitation.
The picture of Dorian Gray, Frankenstein, Dracula, and more come together in a gothic setting right in Victorian London. Penny Dreadful, which literally means sensational, dime comic books, is a dark psychological thriller. At its head is Sir Malcolm, the worldly man whose daughter, Mina, goes missing thanks to the city's underground creatures. At the show's heart is clairvoyant Vanessa Ives, played by Eva Green, whose sensational performance deserves a red carpet of awards. Also helping them is American Ethan Chandler, whose job is to slay monsters and maybe enter a romance or two. Eternal darkness lurks around every piece of dialogue, which is literally poetry at times.
Vanessa. Help me.
Number 2, Stranger Things.
Guys, I really think we should turn back. Did you guys hear that?
With a cast of literal children, few expected Stranger Things to be as brilliant as it turned out. But proverbial Stranger Things have happened. Around a basement table, Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and Will gather to embark on another Dungeons & Dragons campaign, seconds away from being hurtled into the Upside Down. When one of them goes missing, the group of friends and Winona Ryder, who deserves every award, rally to bring home their friend. Enter 11, a science experiment with unimaginable powers. This team isn't just looking for their friend, they're battling demogorgons, opaque government agencies and labs, literal monsters, ticking time clocks, and more. Stranger Things has a feature that, even 4 seasons later, hasn't been overused, throwing its characters into intertwined storylines but keeping them apart until the pinnacle moment of the season when tensions are at their highest.
No matter what happens, we have to stop him. Together.
Before we reveal our first pick, let's look at some honorable mentions, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. The originals.
He was one of us!
I had no choice.
Do you really believe that?
Grimm.
Detective, what are you looking at? Come on, Nick, we have a call.
True Blood.
They're coming for every goddamn human in this town.
Interview with the Vampire.
I was not yet ready to hunt, but desperate to feed.
It's best to let the food come to you.
Number 1, Game of Thrones.
I was born to rule the 7 kingdoms, and I will.
Unbowed, unbent, unbroken. Game of Thrones, of course, comes out on top of the all-time best fantasy series. Disclaimer disowning the last 2 seasons withstanding. Never before has a show been as powerful as the Thrall, the dragon-owning Daenerys Targaryen. The incest-committing Lannisters and the ever-fragmented Starks had on us. Set in the fictional but brutal Westeros, the Iron Throne for the 7 Kingdoms lights an ancient fire for several honorable houses. Game of Thrones broke the mold by absolutely annihilating any main character fans favored, featuring world-class level dialogue and mixing politics, sizzling romance, and heart-stopping action. What other shows brought together Pedro Pascal, the decapitated head of a former US president, in a now controversial deleted scene, and Ed Sheeran? No wonder everyone is tuning in for the show's prequel, House of the Dragon.
If anyone survives the war to come, we'll have Jon Snow to thank.
You've got the North in you.
And those are the top 10 best dark fantasy series of all time. What did you think? Did we miss one of your favorites? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell below to be notified of new content. Thanks for watching.